I wish I knew this when I was a young entrepreneur.
Hello, everyone. Actually, I'm Roger Chen from the University of San Francisco and also the Center for Business Studies and Innovation in Asia Pacific, and short for USF CBSI Asia Pacific. So, Alfred, would you please, first of all, I want to thank you for supporting us to join this program. And would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Thank you, Roger. Thank you for inviting me. And this is my honor, and really it's a privilege to be here today. And thanks, Heister, and thanks, Ty, to actually have me speak today. I think the last time I actually spoke at a Heister event was maybe 22 years ago, which Heister was just founded. I think I went to a dinner in Cupertino, and I spoke at the dinner. It was very well attended, and so I have extremely fond memories, and it's been a long time. And so thankful to be back. So I was born in Hong Kong, and I was graduated from the University of San Francisco with a computer science degree. And then I went to UC Davis for my graduate studies. And then I got my master's degree from them. And then halfway through my PhD program, I quit and I went to work for Sun. I was at Sun for about just under 9 years. And I founded my own company called BEA Systems. BEA was a very successful venture. So we went public in 4 years and pivoted the company into the web space in the late 90s and reached $58 billion market cap, and eventually got to just under $2 billion in revenue, and sold to Oracle for $9 billion, just under $9 billion during the financial crisis. And then I've done other companies and been very active in investing in the early stage company for the past decade plus. And so about 5 years ago, I started a firm with 2 other partners focusing on seed stage investment in infrastructure technology. So that's what I've been very focused on in the past few years. I'm having a grand time. This is like 2000 all over again for this AI era. So very thankful to be here. Yeah.
I wish I knew this when I was a young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go, please.
Thank you.
One of the questions is, other than didn't finish the PhD program, anything else that you think as an entrepreneur, as an investor, you can do differently, like looking back?
There's no doubt. I think one of the things that I think when I was, it was the first time that I became a CEO, and I think BEA was one of those experiences that you became a CEO in a hurry. And welcome to tech. Nothing you can plan ahead because things happen, because of timing and momentum. I wish I have much better understanding of how important the governance part of the company needed to be. If I would have, which is one of the things that I spent a lot of time advising companies, especially when when the first time really the company has a board of directors, is when they price their round, right? So when they get to an A, and sometimes mostly they get to an A, then you price the new investment. That's when you congregate the board. So you will have like board seats and board assignment from the investors. I used to think that's just for rubber stamping. It turned out it's not the case. So board are not for good times. Board are for bad times. So when you have bad times, this is when your external board member with experience, they rely on the experience and step in to help you with the problem. I think the mistake that I made was I had a terrific board, but my board was not young. So my head of the audit committee was really probably one of the ultimate quintessential gentlemen, in Silicon Valley, well known in the Silicon Valley. But he was not a young guy who was in his 70s. The problem is people in that kind of age, when they are on the board, how much risk can they take, right? Their risk propensity is going to drop dramatically. So the company may still be in a big risk-taking era, but if your board member don't match with that, now if something happened that they have to now take charge of a portion of it, then now you're in trouble. Now they will take the most conservative stance and take the longest trying to resolve a problem, which at the end may be the same result. But then that process could really harm the company in the process. So I didn't really appreciate that enough because I thought, I'm in charge, I do the whole thing. who cares? You know, you go to the board meeting, you tell them a little bit, you know, you have some good food, you leave, right? Turns out that is not the case. But I think we still have this issue in the Valley. In general, we don't pick the best possible member. We improve some for the public companies, but I think we still have to do a lot more. Look at the diversity in the boardroom, right? It's still terrible. Look at how many Asians is on the board, how many women are on the board, right? It improved a little bit. For a while, that was a crucial thing to do. Now, the market is hot, people don't talk about it anymore. We forgot that again, right? So those are things that I think we have to do the right thing. So if I have new, I would have done that very differently. And I think the results may have turned out to be very different, right? Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Could you share some experience that you're being called the CEO by ethics in these 10 hours? Could you share some experience being a coach of the CEOs, you know, over the decades? Share some of your personal experience.
Well, Ben is a very good friend. I think he was very kind. I'm completely confident that as you know, like X16 has grown to the size they have, like better CEO than the job that I did. I certainly had a very good time, you know, and I think coaching CEO is a very tricky business because first you have to put yourself always in their shoes, which is why there are very few CEO coaches in our business. In tech, there are very few good CEO coach. You know, they were good ones, but they died. You know, they passed away. I think the reason why this is not done is because we are too quickly to make judgment of what we would do. Right? It's hard to be a CEO coach if you haven't done the job before. You've done the job, you immediately put yourself in the context with little knowledge. We are in a very, very strange, you know, culture. Our culture is quick to make judgment, right? I'm sure that all of you work in tech, you have ran into so many people. They're so fast in making judgment on every little thing at work because we're encouraged to make fast decisions. So fast to the point where you lose the ability to have sympathy, you lose the ability to be able to think like, put yourself in someone else's shoes. So I think what I've done, what I'm trying to do, I'm still working on this, is always try to put myself in someone else's shoes. And the other thing is never act like I'm their boss. Never ever tell them what to do. I don't ever do that. So when I coach all of the CEOs that is in my portfolio, and I still coach a bunch of CEOs where I don't use the word coach, I'm their friend. So I invite them over, you know, have a chat. Because their job is super lonely. I tell you, especially running a public company, I have about 4 or 5 public company CEOs that come to me very often. They're so lonely. I mean, you know, our compliance requirement is so tough. And, you know, what the shareholder is asking them to do are so unreasonable. And they constantly are trying to throttle between this line of doing the right thing and never have to think about themselves, and who doesn't? So we have a lot of those things that's going on. So what my role has always trying to be is to try to think in their context what to do and try to give them opinion about options, how they would think. I would never give them an answer. So I think the more I do this, I think the more it seems to be working. Actually allowing them to think and derive into the right answers. You know, there is one very famous CEO that recently, you see that, you know, like he's in vogue again. And I spent a lot of time with him. And through that journey, it's clear, you know, like, you know, he was misunderstood. So my job is to point that out to him and say, well, perhaps some of these things in the public world, they don't understand you, right? Even though you're doing all the right things, you may have to come out and communicate clearly what your intention was. And the more you can communicate, the more the people will understand and allow you to ride through the tough time. So I think some of those things, I think I use a lot of it. And I would say I'm not the CEO. CEOs, maybe I'm friends of a lot of CEOs. I mean, a lot of them, they've done much better than I do. And I'm so proud of it, you know. So, and my opinion, we're able to get them a little further. That to me is satisfaction. And it's directly reflected in the performance of the companies and the way that they carry themselves. I can't be more proud. You know, my own portfolio company, Actually, I have one CEO that when we invested in them in 2020, they have 9 people doing, actually a company originally based in Hong Kong, they're doing barely like, 10, $12 million revenue. Now they're over 100 million in revenue, 300 people. Moved the entire company to a different country. And were able to just prosper in a way where they become so successful. It's like, that's satisfaction to me, by the way. That's also, it's the switching of the context. I had to kind of like reprogram my head to think it's okay that I don't have to be hands-on doing it. It's okay that someone else that actually do it. I'm just a participant in the process, and their success, I can enjoy just as much. It took me a while to get there, but it is great fun. So in many ways, I feel I wish I have like 50 fingers, so there's not enough fingers to dabble into enough things. I'm worried about the scalability of this program, but perhaps I have to set up a system that I always just have 10 CEOs that I spend most of the time with. Time management is my biggest challenge these days.
Thank you for watching.